Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, this bird flu thing is, I don't know if I'm going to say it's out of hand, but it's growing quite a bit. And I know I've talked about it extensively, but I think it's something to definitely be paying attention to. It's that time of the year. I mean, listen, you can probably hear it. I'm not feeling 100% this morning. Got a little bit of scratchy throat, little soreness, not bad. Got my liposomal vitamin C on board, a few other things, so I'll be fine. But it's that time of the year, and throwing another potential new illness in, well, we've all experienced what happens when they do that, right? When they throw that on us, that would be a great thing for them to disrupt, the current momentum of what's going on in Washington, D.C. But there's been, cases in North Korea, the Netherlands, a walrus in the Atlantic tested positive, apparently. And now they're saying that the second largest egg producer in the country has detected it at least one or two of their facilities. Now, we've already been dealing with the ridiculous high egg prices. It's silly. I mean, it's almost to the point from a protein perspective that it's cheaper to just buy beef. Maybe not quite there yet, but it's getting there. So be paying attention to that because, they love the pandemics. It worked, I think, pretty great for them. And then now that they're going to mix in some AI modified gene therapy, well, I mean, who knows what's going to happen? Anything could happen. In other news, Donald Trump is making serious waves in Washington, D.C. We all know that. That's not a shock or news, I guess you could say, anymore, because it's been going on now. The first couple of weeks of his presidency has probably done more, definitely done more than any other first 2 weeks of a presidency, but maybe even more than some entire presidencies. And a lot of good stuff is happening, but in general, it's a lot of stuff. And I'm always leery of that because, here's the thing. This is what, for those of you that don't see eye to eye with me on a lot of this stuff, look at it this way. Even if what Donald Trump and his close team are doing is for truly good reasons, like internally, they really desire to do the right thing. Because there's so much going on and because there's such a mass bureaucracy of the system, there's so much distraction going on. There's always the possibility of something being slipped in, and I think we're seeing it. We're seeing little things that are getting slipped by that, are being praised as amazing things, like this, $500 billion investment into AI and mRNA AI, gene therapy, pokey pokes and stuff like that. But there's other stuff. The one thing that I do find interesting, and I've been trying, last night in fact, I was up late and just kind of thinking about this. If you noticed that pretty much the nations, for the most part, I'm generalizing things, so understand that, but the countries for the most part that have always been allies of the United States, he's almost like he's trying to pick a fight with them. And the countries that have generally been considered adversarial nations, at least in the last several decades, he's buddying up to them. France is saying now that they are considering sending troops to Greenland, along with Denmark sending troops to Greenland, to protect Greenland from the United States. They're saying that polling has been done there, and only about 6% of residents of Greenland want to be part of the United States, but Donald Trump is still talking about that. We've got the Mexican government deploying a division of tanks, battle tanks, on the southern border. Relations between the United States and Mexico has gone downhill considerably in the last few weeks. And there's even talk of the potential of border skirmishes between the United States and the Mexican government. Of course, there's, with Canada, the stuff that Trump's done, with Europe, of pulling out of things and saying that he's not going to support NATO or pull troops out of NATO, all these kind of things. I'm not saying I'm opposed to these things, so just stop. But I just think it's interesting that at the same time, he's talking, which he did before when he was president, but it seems more so now that he's talking, very favorably about North Korea and China and Russia. About the only one that I would say is the exception is Israel and Iran. We're closer probably with Israel now than ever with Trump in office. He's pledged pretty much unconditional support. So that's not changed. But I just find it strange, and I haven't been able to quite put my finger on it. I try to be fair when I'm thinking about these things, and I think, well, we've said for years that maybe the good guys aren't the good guys. It maybe the West aren't the good guys. So maybe we're seeing that now, that he's exposing all of these, and then seeing that the Russians, because online social media has really portrayed Russia as the good guys over the last few years. And I'm not saying that everyone's horribly bad, but you do have to start to look at actual details and facts. The facts is that Russia really isn't a completely free nation by any means. China certainly isn't. They are a communist nation. North Korea definitely is. They're very much a communist nation. And so, I don't know. Basically, I'm just mentioning this. I'm talking about it. I don't know that I have an exact position on it just yet. But, I think it is strange that the allies that we've had, and most of the allies that we've had are far left liberal allies. So I get that. But for someone that doesn't want to start wars, it does appear that in some ways you could make the argument that fights are being picked. I don't know. It's strange. I do think that that being alert right now is going to be very important. It's very easy to get sucked in to all the excitement. I think anyone pretty much would be vulnerable to that, because there are some really exciting things. I mean, he's talking about potentially doing away with the income tax, doing away with Federal Reserve, rounding up people, not just illegals or criminal illegals, but people that are maybe foreign nationals. Maybe they're here legally, but they're foreign nationals, but they're here committing crimes, kicking them out. All kinds of stuff that he's talked about that are pretty much a right-leaning extreme position that many of you are probably going to say, you know what, I kind of like that. That would be great. Let's jumpstart this nation and get it back to where it once was, or where it should be. And the thing that I keep thinking of is that it's all very sudden. When is the backlash going to start happening? Because there hasn't been at all. There was all these threats leading up to the November election, all these possibilities. Every one of us were saying that, they're going to do something to get him out of office. There's going to be protests. There's going to be something, right? And the election was about as smooth as an election could be. It just, before the end of the night, everyone knew what was going on and how it would end. And then the whole transition between November till inauguration, honestly, was completely smooth. And it still has been smooth. There's been hardly any types of protests, riots. There's been hardly any type of pushback. Some verbal things, but I mean the pushback on the level of, basically the last time that, 2020 and all that. Nothing. There's no mass protest. There's no cities in America burning because of Trump getting into office. And he's doing vastly more now than he was the last time he was in office. I mean, the agenda is very much, you know, it's on steroids, folks. He's cleaning house. And I just keep thinking there's got to be, at some point, a pushback. And if there isn't, is the left really that weak, that incapable of anything? And I don't believe that, because there's some big power players there. Or is and what Donald Trump is doing, is it all part of the plan, truly? Like, it really is part of the plan, the big plan. And he's just playing a part in it, because it doesn't make sense. So I think it's very good to just stay on the ready. I mean, it doesn't mean you have to alter your life to where you're tense and, you know, white knuckled all the time, but you need to be staying in a state of readiness. Just because all this stuff is happening certainly doesn't mean that nothing bad is going to happen. At some point, there most likely will be pushback. At some point, there most likely will be things that are happening. And if they are not, then the alternative almost has to be that this is all part of the agenda. And that's even scarier. Yeah, that's even worse. So stay ready. Keep getting stocked up, prepped up, prayed up. Because we're in a whirlwind right now, and it's hard to keep up. And we don't really know what's going to happen. Like, I'd say probably for one of the first times in American history, tomorrow is so unpredictable, especially when we're speaking of politics. So just stay ready, get your houses in order, prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.